So let's get started. Welcome to Revving Up Your Metabolism After Bariatric Surgery. So this is going to be your guide to revving up your metabolism. I want to thank you all, first of all, for joining on such short notice. I know that I just kind of sprung this on everyone today, but I thought it was probably time to share this again. So I'm going to give you the welcome spiel, who I am and why I'm doing this before we get started. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. So I've basically spent most of my adult life being overweight, most of my teenage life too, being overweight. I've done every diet imaginable. If there was a plan I could do, a pill I could take, a shake I could drink that told me it was going to make me skinny, I pretty much tried it. In the process, I basically severely damaged my metabolism. And after I had my kids, it didn't seem to matter what I did. I couldn't seem to lose the weight whatsoever. I felt completely hopeless. I remember crying in my doctor's office on more than one occasion, telling him I was doing everything possible and just nothing was working. I kept gaining weight and I couldn't seem to get it off. I had a couple friends that had gastric sleeve surgery, and luckily they were really, really open about their journey, and it inspired me to kind of look into it. So I spent a couple months looking into it, doing a little bit of research. And then I found a surgeon who I really meshed with, and he gave me kind of the details on exactly what gastric sleeve surgery was, that it wasn't just a restrictive surgery. I wasn't going to eat less and lose weight, but it was actually going to completely reset my metabolism. And as soon as he said those words to me, reset metabolism, I was sold because I knew that I had damaged my metabolism and I didn't see another way around it. So I signed up. I signed on to have surgery. I had about two months, to wait between the day that I decided on surgery and the day that I had surgery. And I knew that in that time period, I wanted to completely maximize my results. I wanted to learn everything I could about nutrition, everything I could about being healthy, so that I was never going to go back to that place again. I had my surgery in Mexico, so I didn't have any of the nutrition support. Although working with a lot of you guys, I've learned that there isn't a lot of nutrition support, even if you don't leave the country for your surgery. So I decided to enroll in school. I took a 7-course nutrition program where I learned everything from the very nutrition basics, the fundamentals, to vegetarian nutrition, sport nutrition, all kinds of different things, nutrition for weight loss, of course. So lots and lots of different things. Then in my surgery journey, I joined a whole bunch of bariatric support groups, and I realized that there were so many questions coming up all the time on what to eat, how can I make this recipe healthier, what can I add to this, that kind of stuff. So I decided to create a recipe group and share the recipes that I was creating for myself and my husband every day to share them with you guys so that you could be inspired and so that you guys could learn to eat healthier too. Then the recipe group kind of exploded as soon as people started to realize that I actually had some education in nutrition, and I started helping a lot of people just get healthier. And from there, I decided it was time to open it up to even more. So Sleek and Sassy Nutrition was born. So that's kind of how this all started. And now I'm going to tell you what we're going to do in the next 30 minutes. So in the next 30 minutes, you're going to know how to keep your metabolism revved up to maximum fat burning potential. You're going to know what to do to avoid regaining your weight after surgery. There are scary, scary statistics when it comes to bariatric surgery that 30 to 50% of people gain their weight back within 2 years. And so I know that you guys don't want to be skinny for 6 months, because I don't want to be skinny for 6 months. I want to be healthy forever. So I'm going to teach you what to do to avoid that regain and not become a statistic and be one of the 50 to 70% that keep their weight off. I'm going to teach you what to eat and when to eat it, which is going to be super important. And I'm going to teach you about macros and how to calculate them. I talk about macros all the time on the recipe group, and I get a million inboxes. Okay, not a million, but like a lot of inboxes all the time on what macros are. I don't understand them. Can you help me understand them? So I'm going to help you all understand them. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. Then, oh, there we go. As I said, at the end of this video class, I'm going to go on Facebook Live in our group so that you guys can ask any questions that you have. I'll be on there for probably around half an hour or so you can ask any questions that come up from this, or just any questions that you had in general. All right. I already touched on a lot of this stuff, but why the video class tonight? Because again, my inbox gets flooded all the time with questions, and the same topics keep coming up repeatedly. especially on Monday mornings. I often open up my inbox to like more than 30 messages, and I want to help everybody. I don't want to say no to anybody. I want to try to get back to you all as quickly as possible. And the questions that you guys are asking are a lot of the same things that I've struggled with and the same things that I've overcome. So I thought if I could just open this up to the masses and tell everybody the same information all at one time, then we'd all be at the same starting point. And then if you need more help from there, of course, I'm always here to talk and always here to answer questions. So this is going to be the nutrition basics that I'm giving away completely free tonight. Of course, there are programs if you want to join them and get kind of the more in-depth information on them. I am opening up the Sleek and Sleeved round 3. I can't believe it's round 3 in a couple of weeks here. And I have a discount code at the very end of this. So if you hang around for the whole thing, you get a discount code on that as well. So the most common question that I get asked all the time, and I see all the time on the bariatric groups, is will my sleeve stretch? And my short answer is going to be yes. Your sleeve is going to stretch. From the day you have surgery, the size of your sleeve, and especially because you have some swelling and stuff like that right when you come home, your sleeve is going to stretch. It's the beauty of your body that the stomach is basically made from 3 layers of muscle. Muscle stretches, it grows, it expands. It's never going to go back to the size that it was, but it is going to be somewhere between 10 and 20% larger than it was right after you had your surgery. And most of that stretching happens within the first year. They say usually when you come home from surgery, you're able to eat about 1 ounce to 2 ounces at a time. By the 1 year mark, most people are looking somewhere between 6 and 8 ounces is what they're able to consume at one time. So that's kind of what you can expect. So, I mean, that's a fairly significant increase. Now, a lot of that 1 to 2 ounces in the beginning is because of swelling. So that's kind of part of that. But so your sleeve is going to stretch. Let's just leave it at that. That question doesn't even need to be brought up anymore. But it does not mean that you're going to fail. It doesn't mean that you're going to gain your weight back. It doesn't mean that you won't lose weight. It doesn't mean any of that, because your surgery was not a restrictive surgery. It was a metabolic reset. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information on metabolism, and I do have notes for this one because I don't want to mess anything up. So a little bit about metabolism. The basics are: metabolism is the process by which your body converts food and drink to energy. Now, we're all kind of given like a base metabolism at birth. Some are going to be better than others. Some are going to like run a little bit more efficiently. It's like your high efficiency furnace compared to your regular furnace. But some are going to be just naturally a little bit more efficient. But as we grow and we age, we're given numerous opportunities all throughout our lives to either speed up or slow down that metabolism. The faster your metabolism is, the more quickly and efficiently you're going to burn your calories and convert them into energy rather than storing them as fat. So you want that fast metabolism. If you've ever met that person, and I know we all have, who can eat and eat and eat and never gain weight, that's basically someone with a super fast metabolism. So that's why they're able to do it, because their metabolism is so revved up and so fast. And that's kind of my goal, is to be that skinny girl that eats all the time. So the older we are, the more difficult it is to change the metabolic set point that you have, by changing it naturally, of course. The severity of the damage that you've done to your metabolism is also going to affect how difficult it is going to be to change your metabolism without surgery. So this is why before surgery, you could diet like mad and not lose 1 ounce, which is kind of the point that I had gotten to. Or you can diet like mad, lose a whole bunch of weight, but then the second you let up even just a tiny little bit and you look at a cookie, you gain all of your weight back plus some. It's because you've never changed your metabolic set point. So that metabolism is still burning at the exact same point that it always was. Now, with your surgery, your metabolism is completely reset. Now, the reason it's reset is there's a hormonal component. There's a lot of science behind it that we're not going to get into all of that today. We can talk about that another time. But basically just know that you've been given a brand new baby metabolism. You've been given a whole fresh start. So there's a couple things that are important with that. The first one that I do just want to quickly address is it doesn't matter how far out you are from surgery. So you're 5 years out from surgery, say, you still only have a 5-year-old metabolism, essentially. You would not tell a 5-year-old that they can't lose weight. You wouldn't tell a 5-year-old that they should lose weight. But you know, my point here is that just because you're 5 years out doesn't mean you've hit your max, that there's no such thing as, you know, you're done and you're not going to lose weight anymore. I agree there's a honeymoon period where losing weight is easier. But just because you're 5 years out from surgery doesn't mean that your journey's done. It doesn't mean that you're finished losing weight. So you can still keep going. All right, the other thing is So now you have this brand new metabolism, but it doesn't mean that you're home free. It means that you've been given a fresh start. So basically your metabolism will start over as though you've never been obese, that you've never struggled with your weight, you've never had a hard time. Your metabolism doesn't know that. It just knows that you're this normal person that just wants to lose weight. So the average person who hasn't messed up their metabolism or isn't super obese or any of those things that we were can lose weight. They can just, have healthier habits and exercise, and that happens for them. And that's what we now are. So with that being said, you can burn that metabolism out again. You can slow it way down again by making bad food choices, by not eating frequently enough, by crash dieting, by doing all kinds of those bad habits that got us there in the first place. Or you can rev up your metabolism and become like a fat burning machine. And you can be healthy and be able to be at your goal weight indefinitely by revving up that metabolism. So that's by feeding your body the right food at the right times in the right quantities. So that's what we're going to focus on tonight, is doing those things. So next step, how to rev up your metabolism. So these are kind of the basics of how to rev up your metabolism. There's a bunch more things that come into play, like exercise, like certain foods that you can eat. There's all kinds of things, but these are going to be the very basics that everyone can be doing. So the first one is you want to make sure that you're eating small, frequent meals. The reason for small, frequent meals is so that your body never goes into starvation mode. As soon as your body starts going into starvation mode where it has no fuel to be burning, it slows down your metabolism and conserves energy and stores things away for later. So you want to eat your breakfast within 30 minutes of waking up. Within 2 to 3 hours of eating that breakfast, you want to have a snack. 2 to 3 hours after that, you want to have lunch. 2 to 3 hours after that, you want to have another snack. 2 to 3 hours after that, you want to have dinner. And 2 to 3 hours after that, you want to have another snack. So those are your small, frequent meals. You never want to get yourself to the point of super full, but just satisfied. And then basically your calorie level, the caloric levels for those different snacks and meals are going to depend where you are in your journey. If you're really early on, sometimes your 6 small meals a day may only be 25 calories in that first week or two. Eventually you're going to get to 150, 200 calories per snack or meal. But that's the next component, is going to be the calories that you're consuming. So you want to make sure that you're consuming enough calories, because calories equal energy. We have been programmed in the weight loss world to think that calories are bad, but really calories, the literal termination is that calories are going to be energy, and your body needs energy. Your body needs energy just to run your organs. Your body needs energy to breathe. Your body needs energy to digest. You need energy to sleep. You need energy for everything. So there are minimum calorie levels that you need to have to avoid that starvation mode. Your body needs to have at least 900 calories a day just to run your organs and to breathe and digest. So if you're having less than 900 calories a day, you're going to go into starvation mode, and then your body's going to start holding on to calories, holding on to energy, and conserving it for later because it thinks you're dying. You can tell it that you're not, but it doesn't believe you. So 900 is going to be the first calorie level that you're going to shoot for. Now, with your brand new baby little tummies, it's hard to get to 900 calories. Don't I know that it is hard to get to 900 calories? The quicker you can get there, the better it is, but you have to get there with healthy calories, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So 900 calories, like I said, is the absolute minimum. The next minimum that you want to shoot for is 1200, because 900 just runs your organs and your digestion and that kind of stuff. 1200 is going to allow you to actually move and be pleasant to people and go to work and chase your children and do that kind of stuff. Then if you're starting to add in exercise and things like that, you may actually need to go beyond 1200, but we won't even go there today because that gets scary for people. But those are kind of your basic minimum levels for calories. The next thing that we're going to talk about is one of my favorite things, and it is macros. So macros are, and I'm going to give you kind of the actual definition. So they are macronutrients. And macronutrients are proteins, fats, and carbohydrates are your 3 groups of macronutrients. All of your calories that you consume can only come from one of 3, actually 4, because alcohol counts as well, but we don't count that one. One of 4/3 places. So proteins, fats, and carbs are going to make up all of your calories. Why you care about them is that if your macronutrients are in the perfect balance, then you're going to burn calories more efficiently. And it's going to rev up your metabolism and help your weight loss to be more sustainable. So if you think for anyone, I'm just going to break this down because not everyone can see the pie chart if you phoned in. So if you think of a pie chart here, and it's divided into 3 different places, then one part of it is going to be your proteins, one part of it is going to be your carbs, and one part of it is going to be your fats. You need all of those to balance into the correct percentages and fall into the right categories in order to make up your daily caloric content. So I hope that makes sense to everybody. So every food that you eat is going to fall into one of those 3 categories. If your chart falls out of balance and you have too much of one and not enough of another, then it can actually stall your weight loss and kind of slow things down or have you gain weight even or whatever. I see this all the time. So macros are going to tell you that all calories are not created equal. If you didn't think about macros and you only calculated calories, then it would tell you that, say, 100 calories of chocolate is going to fuel your body exactly the same way that 100 calories of broccoli would, which of course we know that's not true. So let's move on and talk about what those macro percentages should be. Now, I'm going to just kind of precursor this, I guess. All plans are going to be slightly different. There are a lot of low carb plans in the bariatric world. If you believe in the low carb lifestyle, then that is totally fine. You can still calculate macros based on that. I'm not going to teach you a low carb lifestyle because for lots of nutrition and health reasons, I don't believe in low carb. I believe in healthy balanced carbs. So that's what you're going to get tonight. If you want to talk low carb though, I can certainly help you with that and I can certainly support you in that. But first, we're going to talk about protein anyways. In the bariatric world, we're often told to focus on protein first, so we're going to start there. 40% of your daily calories should be coming from protein. So that basically looks like if you have a 1,000-calorie diet or meal plan, 400 of your calories are going to come from protein. How I got that, a 1,000-calorie diet times 40% is going to equal 400 calories. Then you need to know that each gram of protein actually has 4 calories in it. So 400 calories total, divide that by 4 calories per gram is going to give you 100 grams of protein is what you're looking for in a 1,000-calorie diet. So that is your protein macro. Next is going to be your complex carb macro. So this is what I suggest is 35% of your daily calories should be coming from complex carbohydrates. Again, we're going to use that 1,000-calorie diet is going to be 350 calories coming from carbs. How I got that, 1,000 calories times 35% equals 350 calories coming from carbs. Each gram of carbs has 4 calories. So to calculate your grams of carbs needed, 350 divided by 4 equals 87.5 grams of carbs a day in a 1,000-calorie diet. Now, just a quick little side note here on how to calculate or how to know that you're having complex carbs versus simple carbs. Simple carbs are often going to be filled with a lot of sugar. So if you're watching your sugar and your fiber content, complex carbs are going to have lower sugar, higher fiber. So we're going to talk in a few minutes about tracking with MyFitnessPal. And in MyFitnessPal, it will actually track your fiber and your sugar for you. So just watch those 2 numbers and keep them as close together as possible. And that's going to tell you how your carbs, how healthy your carbs are. So next thing is going to be fats. So I kind of believe in a lower fat diet. I'm not going to say low fat because 25% fats is still a healthy amount of fats every day. But in a 1,000-calorie diet plan or meal plan, 250 of your calories daily are coming from fat. That's 1,000 times 25% is 250 calories. Now, the reason why the fat macro gets thrown off really quickly is each gram of fat actually has 9 calories in it. So 250 calories total divided by 9 calories per gram of fat is only giving you 27.7 grams of fat a day. So you're not getting a lot of fat considering like an ounce of almonds is somewhere around 21 grams of fat. So if you're eating things like nuts, cheese, a lot of eggs, that kind of stuff, it's going to throw that fat macro off really, really quickly. So that's the one to watch for you. This is the most common one that I see that's way out of whack for a lot of people. I'm often seeing things like 40 and 50% fat macro when they're not meaning to have it that high. So the fats is the one that can be a bit of a challenge, and focus on healthy fats more often than not. So things like your avocado, your coconut oil, your almonds, that kind of stuff are better options for fats. All right. I touched on this already, but why macros and not calories? Because your macros are going to equal your calories, but your calories do not equal your macros. So what I mean by that is if you have a 1,000-calorie diet, as I just used as an example, If you have your 87.7 grams of carbs, your 27.7 grams of fats, and your 100 grams of protein, you're going to get your 1,000 calories. Done. Simple. But you can very easily eat 1,000 calories and not hit those other numbers. So not hit the percentages properly. You could easily have 1,000 calories and have a lot of grams of fat, or way too many grams of carbs, or not enough proteins. So if you hit your macros, you're going to hit your calories, but not vice versa. If all of this math has confused you and you have no idea how to calculate those percentages, then you are not alone. And MyFitnessPal has made an entire business out of this, and their tracking app is absolutely amazing. I don't get paid by them in any way, shape, or form. I just use them all the time. So I like to promote them because it's easy macro tracking. So on MyFitnessPal, you go to your diary. So in your diary on the app, it's not on the computer. On the computer, I believe you can get your grams of each macro, but not your little pie chart. But on the app that you can get on your smartphone or your iPad or whatever, you go to the bottom of your diary and there's a little gray button that says nutrition. If you click on that, then 3 columns are going to pop up. The first one I think says calories. The second one is nutrients, and then the third one is macros. And if you click on that macros one, your pie chart is going to pop up, and it's green, red, and blue, maybe? I can't even think. But it's 3 different colors anyways, and it's going to tell you where your percentages are every single day. So you can put in your breakfast and then go look at your macro chart, and it will tell you exactly what your breakfast was for macros. Then the next meal that you put in, it's going to calculate your entire day. So it doesn't do it one meal at a time. It does it by the entire day. But if you want to know what one meal is, then just take out the rest of your food and only look at that one meal. So it's kind of macro tracking made easy. It makes it super, super simple, and it's so user-friendly. You can set your macro percents for exactly what you want your goal to be. I can help you with that. If you need help, just send me a message and I can help you get that in line. And then you can look at it every single day and keep your macros in line. Super, super easy. So love MyFitnessPal for that. I believe some of the other apps for food tracking have some of the macros, but a couple of them are missing the fat macro. They calculate your protein and they calculate your carbs, but they don't calculate your fats for you, which I don't love because the fat one, like I said, gets out of control really quickly. All right. So that is the basics of all the information that I have for you tonight. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being on the recipe group. Thank you for supporting me in this amazing venture. Thank you for supporting each other even more so. You've so taken the first step of trying to get healthier. I love seeing your posts all the time. I love that you guys inspire each other and that you inspire me. It's so, so amazing. Thank you for supporting Sleek and Sassy Nutrition. And of course, like I said, I have a free gift for you. I have a discount code for the Sleek and Sleeved program. So the next Sleek and Sleeved program, it is round 3. We've already done rounds 1 and 2, and they have been so, so amazing. I've made some changes for round 3, and we've actually added 3 new weeks of content and 3 awesome new modules that I'm excited to share. So it's 7 weeks now. It starts November the 14th, which is actually my birthday. And the first week is going to be nutrition fundamentals. You're going to learn what you should be eating. We're going to go a lot more in depth on macros. And we also learn why water is so important in our journeys. The second week is conquering emotional eating. This is one of the new parts. Learn why we eat emotionally, how to combat eating with your emotions. And I've actually enlisted the help of an expert in this field. I'm not doing this one myself, that I've kind of partnered with someone that's going to teach us all about emotional eating. So I'm super excited about that. The third week is reading nutrition labels. We literally spend an entire week learning how to read nutrition labels so that they're not a foreign language anymore. We learn what to look for, how to make healthy choices regarding packaged foods. And we also talk about how to make healthy choices with fresh foods. So when you're putting things into MyFitnessPal, what to look for and that kind of thing. The entire program comes with unlimited Facebook support. It comes with priority Facebook support. So when you send a message, I get back to you quickly. It also comes with 2 weekly group calls. So every single week we get on calls similar to this, except you guys aren't muted, and you ask any questions that you have. Then weeks 4 to 7, this one has the wrong title, I just realized. So week 4 is actually surviving the holidays after bariatric surgery, not fundamentals. So I'm going to teach you how to cope with family functions, potlucks, holiday parties, Christmas baking, all that kind of stuff. We're going to spend a full week talking about the holidays and how that's going to look after bariatric surgery. Week 5 is going to be meal planning 101. We're going to talk about how to meal plan, what to put in your plan, how to make adjustments on the go. Meal prepping is going to be part of that as well. Week 6 is your guide to dining out after surgery. It's an entire week focused on what to order from a menu in a sit-down restaurant, what to grab at fast food, how to order coffee at Starbucks, that kind of thing. So all of that. And then the very last week, week 7, is going to be fueling your workouts. So what you need to eat and when you need to eat it to get optimum results from your post-op workout plan. This is the one that I'm super excited about, is fueling your workouts, because I see this one a struggle for a lot of people all the time. So I'm excited to be able to give a lot of information on that one. The program cost is $199 Canadian. So for my American friends, it's somewhere around $140, just so you know the conversion. It depends on what the dollar is doing that day. If you join before October 14th, which is next Friday, you get some bonus offers. So you get an exclusive 7-day meal plan that I'm going to give to you, 4 exclusive Facebook Live chats for just the people in the program, a free one-on-one call with me to be used anytime before December 31st, where we talk about anything you want to talk about, and I send you a free gift as well, just because I like giving presents. So that is pretty much it for our plan here. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to